The WNBA is a unique market, right? It moves a little bit different. You take a bet, a limit play, even if the limit is 2 dimes on the side, you don't go from 11.5 to 12. You know what I mean? You got to go. Because if they bet you the second number, then you go, oh boy, now we have a decision that we really didn't think we got a big decision. Books love decisions.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. That's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Live right here, hour number 3, our third and final of this week, of this Friday. Live right here on the early line on SportsGrid. He is Donnie, I am Ben. One more hour to go to send you into your weekend. A weekend that once again has Major League Baseball. A full Friday slate to kick off the second half following the All-Star break in the bigs. Get ready to learn WOBA, buddy. Get ready to learn ISO Power, buddy. Donnie right side has the numbers up and ready to go. No crowd strike here on the early line on this Friday. We'll set the stage for All-Star Weekend of the WNBA out in Phoenix as well. And another live update from round number 2 already underway across the pond at the Open Championship. Justin Thomas, an abysmal start. Par, bogey, 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 double in his first 5 holes, 3 under in his opening round, stood atop the leaderboard for most of Thursday, 5 over in his first 5 holes of his second round on Friday. One more hour to go, DRS. You ready?
Yeah, we're ready. We're going to have a great weekend this weekend. WNBA All-Star Game, as we said, Saturday night. Compelling television. A full slate of Major League Baseball action over the weekend, as we just talked about. The Open Championship and where that factors in. Scotty Scheffler in that top 10 now, creeping closer on that leaderboard. Can he strike? And also, we just want to see, like, if we get good weather conditions Saturday and Sunday, we'll get some scoring. But I would love to see 35-plus mile-an-hour winds and some rain in the forecast. Make them earn it over there.
It seemed pretty tepid as of right now. Some low scores to end out their second rounds near the top of the leaderboard. Scotty Scheffler 2 under through 17. He is playing his 18th and final hole of this Friday round number 2. Shane Lowry, after a 5 under par 66 in round 1, a 2 under par 69 in round 2. The Irishman, the 2019 Open champion at Royal Portrush, stands atop the leaderboard at this moment, 7 under for his tournament. But as the All-Star break is now done in MLB, and the second half starts today, we have the big picture conversation one final time before we break down a lot of the games on this 15-game Friday slate. Who is your pick at this current moment to win a World Series in 2024? That was the question in Fade the Public. DRS, we almost set a record at SportsGrid on Twitter in terms of replies almost outweighing votes. Sometimes we'll offer up other as a reply category and say if you bet other, you got to reply. You got to tell us who you are referring to. And it doesn't bring all that much juice. Not today. We got 10 replies in the Fade the Public poll of people that selected other. That's what we love to see. Of the teams listed, the Phillies lead the way at nearly 35%, but other close to 41%. Our guy, Mammoth Hops, saying the Pirates. Mammoth, I love the enthusiasm. Don't think it's there. Josh saying Houston. Jimbo giving us blooper and the Braves. Christian DeBlock doing great work for the SportsGrid network. The New York Mets, not sure about that one either. Jay Threads, the Guardians. Alex going out on a limb, saying the Brew Crew. Neil getting involved with some Dodgers talk of all of the IL returners. DRS, what a Fade the Public poll we had. That's engagement from the people on social media.
Yeah, I think we need, when I talk about being commissioner, I need to be commissioner of X and everything there that has to go with the polls, because we're looking at suspension from the public getting back to us today with this type of nonsense here. The others leading the way at 41%. Come on now. It is called baseball, not base buddies, which means that I'm going to vote for my favorite team here. Let's just have some fun. Be serious, people. We put this out here so we can get a clean look at what the people are thinking.
Who did you vote for?
And you say to yourself, I voted for the Phillies, plus 420 price here. But you have the
Is that your favorite team?
Dodgers, Phillies, and Yankees. But no, you got to be objective at this point here. So when you take a look at the other, there's no chance for some of these replies for these teams to win. So maybe next time we'll go Dodgers, Phillies, Yankees, and Orioles just to keep it real. And as a commissioner of the people, we're looking at a week suspension here from the polling. The poll is going to have 3 people able to vote. It's going to be me, it's going to be Ben, and then we're going to maybe raffle off who can be that third person at this point. See what I mean? Might have to get a suspension.
I was fired up for the public, getting involved, engaging with our poll, giving us what we ask if they are betting on the others. I mean, some of the decisions were a little bit odd. Like, I know our guy Mammoth Hops is a loyal viewer of the SportsGrid network. The Pirates are not going to win a World Series, but hey, listen, he's going in. At least they're playing better baseball near the break. Winners of 4 straight, 6 of their last 7, and have the NL starter for the All-Star game, Paul Skeens, maybe in contention. Pittsburgh, by the way, 48-48, even 500. Got off to a great start this year. One of the last remaining unbeaten teams, a perfect 5-0 start. But by the end of April, they were already below 500. 14-14 on April 27th was the last time before the All-Star break that Pittsburgh was even back to an even 500. So the Buccos do have some enthusiasm, DRS. Don't knock them down just yet.
No, I'm going to enjoy that. And by the way, just got sideswiped here by the SportsGrid TV account right now. So I had to check the rundown creator, because apparently it says the weekend pick 6 of best bets is coming up. I'm like, I didn't fill anything out. So good luck to me on these weekend pick 6s that are coming up. And I have no idea what my actual picks are. Sure, I'd be making these picks at this point. So here we go. Yeah, you got to. This is a real time, man. Like, people are throwing me off like midway at this point, going like, where is this segment at? I'm not prepared for it coming up. Now, granted, a lot of times I'm not prepared, but I can wheel and deal my way through things. But a pick 6 this weekend with just baseball and no lines coming up, that's going to be a tough one for me to try to help out here for you. So good luck.
You know, it's so great is that quote tweet from the SportsGrid TV account is of a tweet earlier in the day that was sharing out and promoting the early line starting, which is what we appreciate. And it's using the live feed on about a 15-second delay. So I see us cracking up at the very idea the weekend pick 6 of best bets is even coming out. That's good stuff, man. You can't make it up. That's good stuff. Hard to quit the grid. We absolutely love it here. Not a pick 6 of weekend best bets. That's generally a Football Friday or other big dates on the sports calendar, but a ton of best bets and baseball bets throughout this full 15-game slate on a Friday, courtesy of one Donnie Rightside. We'll give you some wagers to keep an eye out on for the Open Championship and some All-Star Weekend picks in the W as well. Donnie, back to our Fade the Public poll. I also selected the Phillies, despite, I guess, my favorite team still being the LA Dodgers. Haven't lived in Los Angeles in a while, but Spectrum Sportsnet LA, where the early line runs each and every day, the home of the Dodgers out there in Southern California. I still went with the Phillies. I think if you had to give me a team right now, as we shared in our pick six at the All-Star break yesterday, we both selected the Phils. You over the Yankees, me over the Orioles. Philadelphia has the recipe. There's not a lot of injury concern, although the Phillies have dealt with some in the opening half, not like the Dodgers having pretty much every starting pitcher they have used this year on the IL. There's not the questions, perhaps, of the Yankees and the Orioles. There's not the questions of other making a run here in the second half, like the Astros, the reigning World Series champs, the Rangers. Right here, right now, Philadelphia is the best constructed team to win a World Series. As elite of a starting two, maybe even a starting three, as you could see in that starting staff. Give Ranger Suarez his flowers. In the offensive lineup, now fully healthy with Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper returning, still awaiting the return of JT Realmuto. I think Philly right now, right here at this moment, at the end of the All-Star break, is the best constructed team to win a World Series.
Yeah, so, and again, I do agree with the public here, voting from the top three choices here, Dodgers, Phillies, and Yankees, that they are the best team currently assembled right now. Could change in a couple weeks. Injuries over the next month or so could change it as well. You can't really rely on that or bet it that way. I'm just surprised the public's got that 40% out there as if it was all, I could say if it was all returns back. No, Orioles are in there, and that's the de facto 40%, but we got a nice little even spread of some of the people's favorite teams out here. Good on the public there on a Friday, getting us back. But I'm telling you right now, suspensions out. Look, some of those replies out here, you're going to be suspended. Trust me on that. You're going to be suspended.
Tough scene. The Open Championship, round 2 next.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
It is round number 2 Friday at the 2024 Open Championship at Royal Troon on the west coast of Scotland. Shane Lowry, your leader as of this moment, 7 under par for the tournament after an opening round 66 at 5 under, a second round 69, 2 under par. He has a 2-stroke lead at the moment over Daniel Brown, who is the round 1 leader after an opening round 65. He is 1 over through 14 holes today. Let me give some credit to Daniel Brown. I said he was like world 365, only 272. Still had missed 4 of his last 5 cuts on the DP World Tour entering the Open, but not nearly as bad as I indicated. So Daniel Brown playing good golf. The fellow Englishman, Justin Rose, who has competed at the Open dating back to his time as an amateur in the late 1990s for nearly a quarter century or even over that. Justin Rose 2 under today after an opening round 69. He is 4 under, sits in third alone.
Yeah, that's when we talk about like those older sort of crafty players like Justin Rose that can still get the job done because they've had the capabilities to winning on U.S. soil and also over there in Scotland and the U.K. for the British Open. But at the same time, I'm sort of looking at this line. Scotty Scheffler, top 5 right now, 2 under par, but he's 5 shots back. I need to see more superstars here. But also, this is what we talked about even with Charlie on earlier this week, saying to ourselves, you know what? Is this one of those tournaments where looking at the leaderboard that we're going to get some surprises and maybe the top cream of the crop players aren't going to be in that top 15, top 20 making a charge on Sunday afternoon? And usually that could be a little bit detrimental to the ratings because we love star power going after major championships all the time. That's what draws it in. But I'm looking at this top saying, hey, why not Justin Rose? Why not Daniel Brown? Why not Shane Rowley? We're not knocking, these guys as being not great golfers, but we're used to seeing the superstars up there. But Scotty's always lurking at this point. -2 after 2 rounds here. We'll see what he has for the weekend. Never, ever count him out.
Still a decent amount of star power in a tied 8th spot right now. Still in the top 10. Jason Day 1 under. Patrick Cantlay 1 under. Both shooting 3 under in their second round with a 68. Xander Schauffele 2 under through his opening round. Did drop a shot. 1 over par 72 in round number 2. Also at 1 under par. And let's give some credit to the big Irishman, Shane Lowry, the 2019 champion golfer of the year, winning the Claret Jug at the Open Championship at Royal Portrush back in 2019. He is a major champion. But, Donnie, we go through all of these things and handicapping and previewing each and every week, and we talk about the value on Scotty Scheffler. Too short to bet before the tournament gets underway. Who might have a longer price that we think is going to be in the hunt come the weekend, come Sunday afternoon? Maybe we're just making it too difficult. Just bet Scotty Scheffler. Plus 450 before the tournament, now plus 360. Plus 190, Shane Lowry is the favorite. And Donnie is correct. Both done now with their second round. Lowry does have a 5-shot advantage over Scheffler, who is 1 under, shooting a 70 in both round 1 and round 2. 2 under for the tournament. But already in the top 5, Scotty Scheffler is minus 190 to finish top 5. He was minus 165 to finish top 10 before the tournament got underway. He's just always going to be there, or at least if it's not always, 75% of the time. And if you're hitting winning wagers at 75% of the time, you are going to be incredibly profitable when all is said and done.
Yes, and also now you have to take a look at the weekend, what does Saturday and Sunday mean? Obviously, players are going to be moving around and jockeying for position to try to get in that final, set of golfers on Sunday. But having said that, Lowry's got that, let's just say he stays at 7 under and he's the leader in the clubhouse. You have the ability for the next day to see what all of those players before you are doing to understand what you have to do on that golf course. If people are going at pins and people are routinely shooting 3, 4, and 5 under, you know what you have to do. But you could wake up tomorrow morning and watch and be like, hey, you know what? I'm 7 under, 2 shots clear of Daniel Brown. By the time your tournament starts, if you're still 2 under, hey, look, I just got to play golf where it's like, all right, hit the fairway, hit the greens, 2-putt, and get out of here without any damage. That's the advantage of having a lead on the weekend. You already know what the other scores are going to be. Now you just have to match them and or better them.
Yeah, so Tiger Woods, by the way, did just complete his second round, 6 over 77, 14 over for the tournament. Battling right now to stay out of last. He's not going to be last, but of course he is going to miss the weekend. Rory McIlroy, 7 over in his opening round with a 78 on the card. The projected cut line still at 4 over par for this Friday, trying to see the weekend at the Open. Rory's round 2 over-under scoring prop, 71.5. Under that, 71. That's even par at Royal Troon today. But Rory's got to be at least 3 under, it would seem, as of right now. And the difficult thing is, with Shane Lowry posting that 7 under, the top of the leaderboard is not really going to change. We could see some players fall out and Rory's positioning be better to move the cut line, but Rory's got to be at least a few under par DRS on this Friday to see the weekend even. But it does seem, as this is this year's final major championship in men's golf, that Rory's decade-long major championship winning drought is going to continue into 11 years when all is said and done.
And it looks like it, too, because you're going to have to post one of the better scores of the day to get inside what we think now is the projected cut line of 4. Because, again, if it was 6 under, 7 under, 8 under, a couple guys, okay, Rory can cook. He's that talented. He can get it going as well. But you're looking at maybe what's the best round of the day so far, Ben? Finished 3 under
68.
par. So you had exactly. So I mean, you're really not going to do too much damage that way. So he's really got that uphill climb, and competing and winning is different than just making the weekend. I'm sure he wants to make the weekend because it'd be embarrassing to come home there and say, you know what, I didn't play all that well and play terrible golf. He didn't just miss the cut. Let's see what he does today. He could put another +7 together and just really be out of it at that point.
DRS minus 190 right now on Scotty Scheffler to finish top 5. He is in a tie for 4th at this moment. With the 25% profit boost on the FanDuel Sportsbook each and every day that you have for the Open Championship, is it worth a bet at like a minus 160 number for Scheffler to finish top 5?
You figure he's going to be there. Again, I haven't done much research on the weather itself, and that's going to be key. Like, if you look and it's just average conditions there, absolutely. But if you're going to find that it might be 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts, then it's obviously anybody's game. But if it's normal wind conditions at the Open, then why not? He's always there at the end.
We will give you some more picks for the weekend. WNBA All-Star Weekend in Phoenix. Up next, live right here on the Early Line.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
WNBA All-Star Weekend in Phoenix. Tonight, it's the skills competition and the three-point contest. Tomorrow, It's WNBA All-Stars versus Team USA as the Olympic team gets ready. A short training camp to make the trip to Paris next week for the Olympic Games. Exactly 1 week from today. That's the opening ceremonies over there in France. We'll give you some picks here. I'm sure this is going to be a fun segment. I'm sure this morning maybe your work has been impacted by the CrowdStrike outage that is basically the world's internet connection at this moment. Erica Wheeler of the Indiana Fever, right now the favorite to win the skills challenge at the WNBA All-Star Weekend, is on a flight that has been delayed and maybe canceled to Phoenix. She might not even be there because of this CrowdStrike outage that we have this morning. So take that into your handicap as she's the 3-1 betting favorite.
Yeah, we're really going to miss her. If you put up right now 5 pictures of people that play in the WNBA, I would not be able to pick out Erica Wheeler at this point to find out who that is. So if she misses it, it's not going to miss anything on the ratings.
Why did you offer up that? I didn't even ask you, do you know who Erica Wheeler is? Like, why did you offer up that information?
Because here's the reason why. Look, there's always like a mad scientist in me. I'm angry because the stars that I know aren't showing up to these skills competitions. So I'm left with saying, hey, do you want to tune in and watch some action tonight? Hey, here's Erica Wheeler. Who? Like, did they pick her? I have no idea who Erica Wheeler is. Could not pick her out of a lineup. But you know I could pick out there? Ionescu. I could pick out Caitlin Clark. I could pick out Angel Reese. I can do that.
Ionescu.
Yeah,
but like nobody really competes in the skills challenges at All-Star Weekend in the NBA. So what's the big difference in the W? Marina Mabry, she's a very notable player, traded this week from Chicago to the Connecticut Sun. Brittany Griner, longest price at plus 380.
Okay.
PG's going to be out there.
Okay. By the way, do you know what the best skills competition I ever watched was, Ben, on live TV? Can you guess? Just give me a guess, and I'll tell you if you don't get it right. Guess what it was.
The quarterbacks back in the day at the Pro Bowl trying to hit the moving targets?
Close. It's close. In the 1980s, there was a guy named Ted DiBiase, the $1 million man in the WWF. He had a side guy there, Virgil, who handled all his dirty work. They brought a kid out of the stands, offered him $100 to bounce a basketball 10 times. He bounced it 9 times, and before he can get the 10th down, they knocked it out of his hand and made fun of him. If we're going to do something like that on the Skills Challenge tonight, then yes, I will enjoy and watch it there. But that may be the best Skills Challenge I've ever watched.
It's like you almost want to get mad at Donnie for taking what might be a legitimate segment of sports content and just completely going off the rails.
Memories,
but
man.
You can't blame the dog for not learning new tricks.
Yep.
This is really just Joe Friezo's fault, our producer, for putting Donnie Rightside in this situation. Yeah, pick 6 to go through the 3-point contest and the skills challenge. 3-point contest, though, as we shared earlier, Caleb McBride for Minnesota, 30-point performance for the Lynx in their final game. That included being 4 of 8 from deep. Most 3-pointers made this year was 76. She's the even money betting favorite at plus 100. Marina Mabry, also in the 3-point contest, Alicia Gray, who plays for the Atlanta Dream in her second All-Star Game appearance in both of the contests tonight. How about Double J, Jonquel Jones, 5-1. Stephanie Dolson, second best 3-point shooting percentage in the W this year, 48.5%. Do you have a pick for the 3-point contest?
Yeah, you probably would take a longer shot, right? You saw the home run derby, and it's like, hey, man, Alec Boehm's got no chance. Neither does Teoscar Hernandez. Those guys wind up in it. And the reason I bring that up is, Ben, we don't have the true clutch number 1 shooters that we anticipated. So maybe it's watered down a little bit where some of the underdogs can actually win. That's my piece of betting advice. Take some longer shots in this tournament.
For sure.
There you go.
Yeah, that's great stuff. All right, All-Star game tomorrow night. Team USA, 5.5-point favorite against the WNBA All-Stars. 194.5 is that over-under. Very lofty by WNBA standards. Probably not your thought for All-Star games in basketball. I wonder how firm the competition is tomorrow night. Is it a true tune-up for Team USA against the most elite competition they will face in this Olympic run? They're a minus 1,800 favorite to win their 8th consecutive gold medal at the Olympic Games. Or is it more of a celebration like we see during the All-Star game in the NBA?
No, there's no celebration. Team USA legitimately hates Caitlin Clark and probably Angel Reese, and that coach will have a full court press the entire way to try to absolutely blow the doors off the All-Stars. Lay the 5.5 and thank me later.
8 plus assists for Caitlin Clark tonight, plus 162. If it is a true game with offensive flow, she's going to be orchestrating everything. Major League Baseball breakdowns after the break. Up next.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
We are back, baby. It is the second half of this Major League Baseball regular season. Again, it bears repeating, past the midway point for sure. All 30 clubs playing at least 95 games of their 162 throughout the regular season. But after the All-Star break, our first Friday full slate, our first day of action since Sunday afternoon. We start late night in Los Angeles at the Ravine. A really good matchup this weekend in LA between the Dodgers and the Boston Red Sox. LA struggling entering the break, losing 8 of their last 11. The Red Sox on the opposite end of that equation. Boston now 11 games above 500, 53-42. They sit with the third and final AL wildcard spot entering this home stretch. Gavin Stone has actually been one of the better starters, DRS, for the Dodgers this year in the mishmash of that starting rotation due to all the injuries. And because of it, LA a home favorite tonight. But should the Dodgers be considered the favorite at home? By the way, those numbers updated in a big way. The Dodgers now minus 122 on the money line.
Yeah. And that's the way it should be, to be honest, because also you get asked this question so many times over the years. Like, some of the better, or should I say harder betting strategies is coming out of the All-Star break. And sometimes it's not fair because these guys are professional athletes. Some of them are going to get away and blow off steam, yes, but it's not as if they're going to come back, 15 pounds overweight and never seen a baseball before. It's not as if they're going to be seeing first live pitching for the first time in 3 weeks. It's basically only been 5 to 6 days total that they've been off. But having said that, if you want to come into the break as the Dodgers, boy, you needed it, and you're coming back with Gavin Stone. It's not as if you're coming back with like your ace on the mound that's going to be a guaranteed stopper. And the same thing with Nick Pivetta. You're putting both of these pitchers really in that same boat. You take a look at both of these lineups, and if we're just going based on statistics over the past month, the Dodgers weren't that great. Ohtani, Smith, and Freeman, yes, they have very good numbers against right-handed pitching, but the rest of that lineup outside of Chris Taylor, a lot to be desired. You take a look at that Boston lineup going against right-handed pitching, much more palatable. Duran, Hamilton, Yoshida, Devers, O'Neill, Abreu, Smith, all high weighted on base percentages against right-handed pitching. So I like the fact that we posted that graphic and saw that big change there by about 20 cents. And I agree with that here. If we're taking a look at both of these teams, I think it's a pretty much an even matchup coming out of the break. Therefore, I would just lean on taking the dog side, which is the Boston Red Sox.
Boston victorious in 10 of its final 13 before the All-Star break. Again, injuries have been the story for L.A. When might those reinforcements be there? Tyler Glasnow, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the other veteran starters that we know for this L.A. side, like Clayton Kershaw. And, of course, when does Mookie Betts return? At least not tonight. The Dodgers have been a favorite in virtually, I believe it is now, they've played 97 games, and 89 of the 97 in the first half. A favorite tonight, ever so slightly at this moment, against the Sox. Best team in the American League, that's still the Cleveland Guardians, despite losing 5 of their final 7 entering the All-Star break. 58-37 for the Guardians, a half game in front of Baltimore for that best mark in the AL. Cleveland at home today, minus 144 to start this second half against the San Diego Padres. Total is 7.5. What do you like in the land?
Yeah, by the way, both of these pitchers are decent here. Now, some of the analytical numbers are showing better than their ERA. Talking about Waldron here of the San Diego Padres. We'll get to him in a second. But the home team's going to have Bibee on the mound, and quite frankly, a decent pitcher all the way through. ISO power number, slightly elevated, weighted on base percentage about average. He does get touched up a bit by left-handed batters. If you're taking a look at the lineup tonight, Arise will be a lefty, Profar, Cronenworth, Merrill, and also Peralta. So you have a decent mix of guys in that lineup that have done fairly well against right-handed pitching over the last month. You flip it over to the other side and say, what's Waldron going to bring to the equation? I told you, ERA is a little bit high on the road, but his xFIP number certainly is manageable. If we're looking at just what happened over the past month in that last 125 batters, it looks like he can be got to. An ISO power number of 211 combined and a weighted on base percentage, which is average at 324. Now, Waldron is a right-handed pitcher. He doesn't struggle, per se, with left-handed batters, at least over the past 30 days, but he has struggled with right-handed batters to the tune of a 256 ISO and a weighted on base percentage of 437. So to be honest, here's what we're doing in this lineup. There's a lot of lefties out there, and rightfully so. Typically, right-handed pitcher, if you have the ability through switch hitters and left-handed batters, you want to overpower that side of the plate. But to be honest, you really can attack Waldron from the right side as opposed to the left side. So you might be thinking to yourself, two decent lineups here coming in post-All-Star break is 7.5. I'd probably go over. This game for me is actually leaning towards more of an under than an over here.
Some lower totals today, Donnie, I think across the board because of the idea, hey, got to shake off the rust after nearly a week off. 7.5, this number for what we could see in a decent amount of offense. But I agree with your thought there. The Guardians, by the way, one of the better home teams in baseball, but have only played 41 home games, 30-11, the record for Cleveland in Cleveland, 28-26 on the road. That's 54 games. So of their 95 so far, 54 have been on the road. That means a ton of home games for the Guardians in this second half to try to hold on to that 4.5 game advantage atop the American League Central. Now we go to Atlanta. The Braves playing host to the St. Louis Cardinals. Atlanta a slight favorite at home with Spencer Schwellenbach on the bump. Minus 120, a total of 7.5. Here, Atlanta the most unders at the break, the only team with more than a 60% under percentage in all of baseball in the opening half, 62.2 to be exact. What do you expect tonight in the ATL between the Cardinals and the Braves?
I think Schwellenbach has certainly turned that corner of, oh my goodness, I'm in Major League Baseball, I'm struggling early on, I better turn it around. He's been a decent pitcher as of late, and as of late means, over the past 2 to 3 weeks, as he hasn't been up in the major leagues all that long. But if we're taking a look at the approach, it's the old school versus the new school. And the reason I bring that is not Sonny Gray versus Schwellenbach. It's actually the statistics that you look at and what you're going to trust in this game. Hear me out on this. Sonny Gray on the season, if we take a look at, forget about his splits home and away. He's actually the third pitcher on the card today with an xFIP minus of 73 over the past 60 days and a 3.55 ERA mixed in with an xFIP of 2.92. That is phenomenal. That is as good as it gets. Now let's take a look here at what we say on the road sweeps. He's number 2 here. If we're looking overall, that's 40 2/3 innings pitched here, which is a pretty good amount of time. His ERA, Ben, 5.09. That's horrendous. His xFIP, 2.97. So if you're just looking at Sonny Gray's numbers on the road and say he's got a 5 ERA, just sign me up on the Braves. You need to be looking into those numbers a little bit deeply, because a lot of times you're getting a little bit unlucky in that situation when he's been a quality pitcher over the past 60 days and his xFIP number is extremely low. But also, doesn't that play into the Atlanta Braves and what they want to do? Hey, good pitcher on the other side. Schwellenbach comes in, post All-Star break, pitchers are rested here. It probably lends to a recipe of more of an under. But having said that, Atlanta's at home. All they do is basically win and win in close games. I do think that is a cheap price, even though the better pitcher is on Sonny Gray's side. Lean number one in this game to the under. Lean number two is you're getting the Braves at home at a pretty cheap price. Why don't we just roll that direction?
These are the top two teams in the National League wildcard standings at the moment. Atlanta, a 3.5 game advantage over St. Louis for the top spot. An interesting weekend now as playoff positioning is firmly in focus following the All-Star break. The Cardinals, Mets, 2 and 3 in the wildcard standings. The Mets in front of the D-backs and the Padres by a game, and the Pittsburgh Pirates by a game and a half. Those 5 teams battling for the final 3 spots in the National League wildcard race, separated by only 2 games among 5 teams. Speaking of the Buccos, they get ready to host baseball's best this weekend in an in-state showdown in the Commonwealth at PNC Park. The Pirates and the Phillies. Aaron Nola gets the start today for Philadelphia, booked as a hefty road favorite, minus 166, that updated number on the money line.
They probably should be that favorite, but also keep in mind, once again, you're taking a look at these splits and which one matters more to you. Over the past 60 days for Martin Perez, he's got a 113 xFIP minus, which is above average. An ERA, close to 5.80, which is terrible. An xFIP number, 4.58, that's in the danger zone. But again, you're taking a look at those total starts. You have a true pitching advantage when you're at home in Pittsburgh, one of the better pitchers' ballparks in Major League Baseball. His numbers are significantly better. But you also have a rested Aaron Nola. We're going pedigree for pedigree here on pitchers. It's going to be the Phillies. Line up side by side, it's going to be the Phillies. So I do think the Phillies have a manageable price there around that minus 160. And you better pick up victories, because sooner than later, I'm going to say in the series, you're going to face Paul Skeens. Pick up this victory at Nola tonight and move on.
Plenty more MLB breakdown coming your way up next.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
The first day of MLB regular season action following the All-Star break starts very early on this Friday. Some day baseball inside the friendly confines. Now that's a summer tradition in Chicago. To Wrigley Field we go. The Cubbies a home favorite today with Justin Steele on the bump against the Arizona Diamondbacks, minus 164 that number. The over-under is 8. Chicago playing better baseball into the break. The sweep last week in Baltimore over the O's, as is Arizona, winners of 8 of their last 12, the reigning National League pennant winners. Two teams playing better. Who gets the win to start the second half after the All-Star break today in Wrigley?
Yeah, it is a big week for both of these teams, too. Buyers or sellers at the deadline. We'll find out if that makes sense. But if we're just looking at the starting pitch-up matchup here, the Chicago Cubs, certainly for me, have the better pitcher in Justin Steele. You take a look at his last 30 days overall, 109 batters that he's faced, a 104 ISO, and a weighted on-base percentage of 206. On the season, it's a 125 ISO and a 253 weighted on-base percentage. Those are phenomenal numbers. And also sometimes you're pitching at Wrigley Field. Those numbers could get inflated. You take a look at his ERA this season through 37 and a third innings pitched at Wrigley, 3.13, which has an xFIP of 3.89. That's very good. Ryan Nelson on the other side has actually had some better numbers ERA-wise than he does those anticipated numbers, let's just say analytically, of the xFIP and the xFIP minuses. He does have some elevated full season numbers, but has been a better pitcher over the past 30 days. However, if we're gauging lineup per lineup, take the pitchers out of the equation, which I told you, the Cubs have the better one. The Cubs actually present themselves better today than the Diamondbacks do. Ryan Nelson's a right-handed pitcher. You got the first 5 guys he anticipated in that lineup: Horner, Bush, Suzuki, Happ, and Morrell as those guys, or Morrell as those guys that have high weighted on base percentages against right-handed pitching. I think the Cubs are the right side today. I do.
I think it's fair to say this game tonight in Seattle is the game of the night, maybe the series of the weekend to start the second half following the MLB All-Star break. The Mariners holding on to just a 1-game lead in the American League West over the Houston Astros. Houston, since they were 7 games below 500 on June 18th, has won 17 of their last 23, despite a final weekend before the break series loss to the Texas Rangers. The M's struggling. They dropped 9 of their last 14 entering the break, but an ever so slight favorite with Luis Castillo on the bump tonight in the Northwest. Hunter Brown gets the start on the other side for the Stros. The total is 7. DRS, it's now a virtual pick'em. Who wins the series opener of this weekend set out in Seattle?
You might say 7 is a crazy number here. And also, take a look at these two teams. Let's break it down. Luis Castillo on the mound today, 114 batters he's faced over the past 30 days. Right-handed batters, absolutely dominating against them. But the lefty batters, they're getting the best of them. And also, taking a look at that Houston lineup over the past 30 days against right-handed pitching, it's on fire. Outside of Chas McCormick, who's due to bat 9th tonight with a 244 weighted on base percentage, every single batter in that lineup has a 336 weighted on base percentage or higher. That could help them out. Also, taking a look at the opposite side and saying, how does that Seattle Mariners offense go up against Hunter Brown, the starting pitcher for the Astros, as a right-hander? They've been absolutely brutal. Maybe the worst strikeout numbers I've seen. You're taking a look at every single batter in that lineup, Ben, that has at least a 28% or higher strikeout rate against right-handed pitching. And Hunter Brown's a pretty good pitcher, coming in with a K rate over the past 30 days of 23%, on the season 25%. So I look at that 7 number and really like it. But if we are doing a pitching breakdown at this point, road starts for Hunter Brown, 5.70. Oh, my goodness, that's horrendous. His xFIP, though, Ben, 3.27. I mean, that ball's not getting in the air, and he's striking out a lot of guys. And we already know how hard it is typically for the Seattle Mariners to score runs, particularly in their own ballpark. Flip it over to the other side. Hunter Brown's got some pretty good numbers coming in overall. How about this? Last 60 days, an 83 xFIP minus and an ERA, Ben, of 2.36 and an xFIP of 3.41. I think both of these lineups will struggle against these pitchers. But if you're asking me which technically is just the better hitting side, it's by far Houston. Maybe you lean that way, but it's going to be a tough time tonight, for me at least, seeing these pitchers get knocked around in that ballpark. We're probably looking at a 3-2 type game, in my estimation.
We stay at the site of the All-Star game and All-Star week in all the festivities. Arlington, Texas, maybe for the other most compelling series this weekend. The Rangers host the Baltimore Orioles, a rematch of last October in the ALDS. Baltimore was the number 1 seed in the AL. The Rangers were the 6th seed. They swept the O's to get to the ALCS and then, of course, win a World Series. But Baltimore shoves out Corbin Burnes, who was used to the bump. He started the All-Star game for the American League on Tuesday night at Globe Life Field. Baltimore, a road favorite, minus 124 against the Rangers. Texas entered the All-Star break victorious in 7 of its last 9. What do you like tonight in Arlington?
Yeah, and it's a shame, too, because sometimes you line this up. You know how excited you are for, like, Major League Baseball to return? Well, typically it is like opening day in a lot of ways because your starting pitchers are typically the aces on the mound right out of the gate, and they're extra rested. So when you say to yourself, okay, opening day baseball, it's so much fun. Why is nobody scoring? Well, because the aces are on the mound and the batters here might be a little bit behind. Now, granted, the batters have been playing the whole season, but you still have that delay. But if we're looking at these pitching matchups today, Eovaldi and Burnes, there's 27 pitchers ranked on the card today over the past 60 days, Ben, that have at least 20 innings pitched. Nathan Eovaldi is number 4. Corbin Burnes is number 6. Eovaldi comes in with an xFIP minus number of 76, an ERA of 3.25, and an xFIP number of 3.36. That's really good. Corbin Burnes just about matching him with an 81 xFIP minus and an ERA of 2.22 and an xFIP of 3.48. It takes 9 runs to beat you in this environment. Once again, I'm going to lean towards the pitcher here. I think it is more of a toss-up than that heavy favorite for Baltimore since we're coming out of the break and they're on the road, but also at the same time. I don't know where we're getting 9 runs from, to be honest.
The ace gets the start tonight in the Bronx. That's Garrett Cole for the New York Yankees, minus 172. A hefty home money line favorite against the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays an even 500. The Yankees struggling into the break, but still better baseball, only a game behind Baltimore. What do you like tonight in the Bronx?
It's kind of funny because if you just look at the name itself, you're like, sure, we're going Garrett Cole all day long. But you take a look at his season-long numbers, which, again, aren't extensive, only 103 batters. It's a 228 ISO against him and a weighted on-base percentage of 371. Good hitting conditions in the Bronx tonight, 81 degrees, wind blowing out the left field. You might still, even with Garrett Cole on the mound, lean towards an over in this environment. But this by no means is a blowout win for the Yankees, as you might thought of just a year ago with these two on the mound.
Yeah, absolutely not. The Yankees did win their final weekend set against Baltimore to stop some of the bleeding. They trail the O's by only a game now in the American League East. More MLB breakdowns now.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Two very compelling teams as we near the trade deadline in Major League Baseball on the first day of regular season action following the All-Star break. They face off this weekend in the 6th. It's the Blue Jays and the Detroit Tigers. Detroit entered the All-Star break playing really good baseball. Winners of 8 of their last 11. Not so much the case for Toronto, losing their final weekend set against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Jays a slight home favorite today, minus 118. The over-under, 7.5. The Tigers 3 games below 500. The Blue Jays 8 games below 500 on this first day after the break. Donnie, both of these teams could be trading away pieces as we near the deadline in just about a week and a half. But for this time now, what do you expect out of this weekend series?
Yeah, they won a couple good starts out of Jack Flaherty talking about the Tigers. But having said that, let's remove Jack Flaherty from the situation here and just look at how Toronto has done against right-handed pitching over the past 30 days. First 3 batters, fantastic. Springer, Horwitz, and Guerrero. Everybody, ISO power numbers high, weighted on base percentages high. The rest of that lineup, a lot to be desired. Now let's bring in Jack Flaherty, who on the season has an ISO power number against him through 371 batters of a 170. Right about average, that's manageable. Weighted on base percentage at a 284. But let's take a look at some of the splits that go into your advantage now. Detroit is going to be on the road. Jack Flaherty, 51 1/3 innings pitched this season on the road. How about an ERA of 2.81 and an xFIP of 2.49? So you take a look at a Toronto lineup that hasn't been all that electric against right-handed pitching, going against one of the better right-handed pitchers in baseball analytically here. That doesn't match up all that well. So you look at on the other side, Bassett's not a phenomenal pitcher, but also that Detroit lineup that sometimes we laugh at so much. There's a couple guys in this lineup. Perez, Keith, Green, Kelly, McKinstry, and Javier Baez, who he does having a bad season, but has done decently against right-handed pitching over the past 30 days. I think I have a better lineup, which is crazy to say, with Detroit versus Toronto, and I have the better pitcher on the mound. Plus 100, I'll take that way.
Specific game breakdowns of 9 of the 15 on this full Friday slate. One that Donnie Rightside likes more than most, that will more than likely be his best bet. Largest money line number in favor of one side today. It's the Royals against the White Sox. KC minus 205 at home in Kauffman against Chicago. The White Sox, the only team prior to the break around Major League Baseball that has failed to win 30 games. In fact, the only team with less than 33 wins, 27 for those White Sox. Highest total, as you would expect, at Coors Field for the series opener between the Giants and the Rockies this weekend. That's 10.5. A lot to get to here around this first Friday, back after the All-Star break in Major League Baseball. So before we say farewell, before we say goodbye, for the final time on this Friday, for the final time this week, for the final time with, we'll save that for another time. It's time for bye. We probably just confused a lot of people. Donnie Rightside's not going anywhere. There might be some schedule changes with the radio and the TV that we should detail for you next week. But Donnie will be here for a good majority of the early line each and every day. But for this weekend DRS, for this Friday night slate in Major League Baseball, you told both Friezo and I that your best bet, your favorite game of the day, wasn't one of the 9 we had the game boards for. So what is it, and what is that best bet?
Cincinnati and Washington, so many games we take a look at today. It's like, hey, man, there's really good pitchers on the mound. They're going to be rested and ready. Maybe the under is the play. Not in this one. It's listed at 9. I'm going to go over because it's just a simple concept here. Frankie Montas is a terrible road pitcher. Hey, look at that, Ben. He's on the road. Patrick Corbin is a terrible home pitcher. Hey, Ben, Patrick Corbin's at home. You look at that lineup for the Nationals. Abrams, Wood, Winker, Yepes, and Garcia, along with Ruiz, all elevated weighted on base percentages. Flip it over to Cincinnati, and they look very good against a left-handed pitcher, particularly against Patrick Corbin. India, De La Cruz, Stevenson, Hines, Marte, and Espinal, all elevated ISO power numbers. We should be able to get to 10 runs in this game. Finally a game we can sink our teeth into, Ben.
I like that. Let's see some runs. It's still summer. It's still late July. It's not like opening day in March when it's cool temperatures all around. I go to Miami. The Marlins hosting the Mets. Again, an interesting week and a half ahead for New York. Will they be buyers at the deadline? Will they be sellers? Will they stand pat? I think they should stand pat. They have the third and final wild card spot in the National League at this moment. Sean Manaea has been pretty good as of late for the Amazons. He's 6-3 this year with a 3.46 ERA. New York has won his last 4 starts. Short road favorites today against the worst team in the National League. Give me the Mets minus 136 over Miami. He's Donnie. I'm Ben. We'll talk to you on Monday, 8 a.m. Eastern time here on the early line on SportsGrid. Everybody, have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.